All right. Here we go. Should be live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and in Webinar Jam here any second. There we go. Perfect. All right, everybody. Morning. Hey. All right. Excited to do this. Yeah. I know, again, just to start us off too, if everyone could put where they're watching from in the chat. I know we've had quite a few challenges where people have met future business partners at these, can team up and get accountability buddies and everything. So love to start there. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri area, but are you at home, Heather? Or I can't didn't know where you're calling in from. Yeah. Yeah, with 4 kids, just double the drive time, basically. I mean, we'll bite the bullet and, like, drive through overnight. I've been okay with that. I don't know if, sometimes people aren't up for that, but it's rough driving that far with kids, so that's hilarious. Well, I hope you're staying safe and everything, and, yeah, I know the weather's rough right now, so yeah. Oh, Heather, one real quick tech check. Could you unmute yourself on, StreamYard here? There you go. So if you hit mute site, you're good to go. You don't need to mute the microphone or anything. So yeah, the tab up there where you hit, did you hit mute site on the Google Chrome tab
Yep.
possibly? Okay,
Yep.
cool. Then there we go. We're good to go then. Awesome.
Awesome.
There we go. Put in the comments if you can hear us now, guys. Should be good to go. So all right. Fantastic. Anyway, didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, Heather. Go ahead.
No problem at all. Saying hi to everybody in the chat. And now that you've said that, I see that we also have a chat. Y'all, Matt is so much better at tech than me.
We're the tech company here, so I'm here to help.
We've got like 3 different screens up here in front of me and my phone from where we were just doing an IG live, and this is well beyond my tech abilities. So
this was great. We're good to go now.
Which is awesome in how we got here today. Matt is on because I'm teaming up with DealMachine to show y'all exactly how you find all these niche asset class deals and figure out how to buy some of these unique properties that you hear me talk so much about on social media. I've been using DealMachine since before I was on social media, a little over 3 years ago. I heard one of their ads on Bigger Pockets. I was like, oh, this sounds cool, because I've been driving around seeing these things. I'm like, I don't even know how to figure out who owns this. This is well before I understood, different ways to search that. So Matt, talk to us about what we're going to be learning today.
Yeah, and again, really fired up to be doing this with you, Heather. I know this is an approach that's different. It's unique, like the riches and niches approach here, where we're going to be looking at these niche assets, these niche properties. This is not something that we get to do every day. So excited to team up with you on that. And again, it's been great getting to know you. Like having you on. You've been on our channels a couple times and things. Like you just give so much value to people, and clearly people love you. Like it's cool to see the comments in the chat there. So. Awesome to see everybody here ready to go, ready to take action. That again, the difference between this and like a webinar, or even just a video on social, whatever, is the action that we're putting behind this, the intention of getting out there and giving you action steps to go, hey, go do this, go do this, go do this. and you are on your path to go find, deeply discounted off market deals in any niche that you're looking at. So that's our whole goal with these next 7 days, is to help you get out there. Again, keep putting in the chat where you're based out of. We want you guys to be able to hold each other accountable, help you meet future business partners, potentially help you, do deals together. If you're watching on social media, we've got that little ticker at the bottom right there. It's hbchallenge.com. That's where you can sign up to get access to the webinar jams for free throughout this whole thing. And you'll be added to the email list where we're sending out the homework, we're doing the giveaways, all that fun stuff on there. So make sure to join that. Heather, just quick little intro from me. Matt Camp over here with DealMachine, work on partnerships over here. Our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing. And yes, a lot of this challenge I'll be talking about from a DealMachine perspective, from our customers' perspective, and showing off some of the tech as well. With that, we also know that, hey, you guys can be using this, you can be doing things by hand. There are alternatives out there. Whatever you're doing this with, our goal for you to come out of this is with the free knowledge, the free playbook, and we'll give you a 7-day free trial if you do want to try out DealMachine alongside us while we do this challenge here. So I'm really excited for people to get out there, take action. And again, everything we do, we're giving you knowledge, we're giving you a tool, but you have to lead with an action first mindset and really be able to come into this being ready to get out there and make things happen. So I'm really excited about all that, Heather.
Me too. I see Holly in the chat asking us how long the daily trainings are. We're going to be live for an hour each day. Is that right?
That's our goal, is to keep it right about an hour. We'll take questions from you guys too. So feel free to put that in the chat. I know, I love Ben. Ben says an awesome service. Fantastic, Ben. Thank you. So we'll be going live today, live tomorrow, and then live next Tuesday. So those are the 7 days. Today's day 1 all the way through day 7 right there. So I will say right now is such an awesome time to be getting into this. I think, what we're looking at in terms of the market, I think you have such a huge opportunity to be more valuable right now, because in the end, real estate investors, no matter if you're going to, wholesale, buy and hold, fix and flip, whatever your exit strategy is, being an investor this way, you provide so much more value in times of uncertainty. Like, you're speaking to people who, may have an issue that you can come in and solve for them. And if you come with that mindset of trying to find people who aren't just thinking about moving, you're not convincing people to move that aren't, are wanting to move. You're not getting an asset that people are wanting to, may or may not get rid of. We're looking for motivated sellers, looking for people who are dealing with a problem that you can come in and solve and provide things like speed and convenience and cash and these different tools to solve that problem for them. And, there are more people out there now that have issues like that you can come in and solve problems for them and create this win-win. So I want you to have that mindset going into this too, is right now is such a good time to be thinking about this. Heather, what are you seeing right now in the market in terms of getting out there and why now is a good time to be doing a challenge like this?
Exactly that. And what's been interesting is before all the interest rate changes happened, I noticed that whether it was realtors or the owners themselves, they weren't as open to some of the creative finance options that we all love to see the clickbait on social media.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole lot harder to talk someone into that. And I've noticed that even the realtors are now mentioning some of that stuff. And so it's opening up this world for owner financing and some of the other creative financing options that we all hope for every time we write an offer on a deal, to be more of reality, because the difference in what you can pay them if you're getting a bank loan versus if they're willing to do some form of creative financing with you, that spread has gotten so far that they're a lot more open to listening to some of those options. And I'm not saying everyone's going to do it. Lots of people still won't. But the point is, more are open to that, which allows you to close quicker and grow your portfolio in a significantly different way that's helpful to a lot of us.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's an opportunity to get out there, like you said, be creative on this stuff. So really excited to help you guys really focus on step 1 of that, which is finding the deal. And really, that's the number one place we see people that who would love to get into this get hung up on, is they just don't know how to find or where to find that great deal. So that's our goal today, is to help give you the playbook of what we've seen work over and over and over again. Between, we've had over 10,000 customers land deals, or 10,000 deals done rather, using DealMachine. We've seen that playbook worked over and over again. We've interviewed hundreds of people on our YouTube channel. So, again, whether you're using DealMachine or not, that playbook is what we're pulling from and to lay out for you. Hey, here's exactly how to go out and find those niche properties. those niche assets. And over the next 7 days, we're going to be showing you that playbook. So really use this as a chance to take action. We've had literally people transform their financial life with this challenge. Like Mark right here, he came in and after the challenge set told us that, hey, this challenge has already transformed his life in a positive way and create a memory that'll last a lifetime. Like he actually used this as an opportunity to get his family thinking about real estate, get him started going out to find his first deal and really hit the ground running with this thing. We had Jared who said, I don't think I'd ever get on the horse and take action if it wasn't for this challenge. So that's our goal with this, is to help you guys take those actions. And Santiago had mentioned, hey, as long as you take these small, consistent actions daily, anything's possible. That's what we want you guys to realize with this challenge as well. So that's our goal with this going through these next 7 days. I know a lot of what we pulled from as well came from David's journey, which Heather, I know you know well. David, he's somebody who's our CEO and founder. Before I share that story, do you maybe want to share your story, Heather, too, of how you got into real estate and show people like, hey, if they're on here trying to think about that first deal, how you went about doing that?
Sure. So for those of you who I haven't met before, I'm Heather Blankenship, and I've been investing in real estate for over a decade. I was 26 years old and driving across the country in a camper from Florida to California. And I kept looking around thinking, oh my gosh, these campgrounds have got to be making so much money. I was just seeing I knew how much I'd paid when I checked in, and I saw the campers parked in all the spaces and they were all pretty full. And I started trying to do the math and I'm like, dude, this is just renting parking spots. These people have got to be making tons of money. And I also saw them like selling food and like all these store items, and they're renting out these bicycles. I'm like, dude, this is a lot of money. And so by the time I get to California, I'm Google searching RV parks for sale, campgrounds for sale, and I found one that was in bankruptcy. The bank owned it. And I called the bank and I was like, hey, I want to buy this. And they were like, how much money do you have? I was like, I don't have any. I was 26 years old in a camper. And this was back when banks were different. It was after the market had collapsed in 2008. And any banks that still had these properties on their books that weren't producing income for them, they were willing to do a different type of loan than they would now. They would keep them in-house. And it's a whole thing with the banking industry that we won't dig into. But they gave me a non-recourse loan, which for those of you who don't know what that means, for example, if I didn't want it anymore, I could just give it back instead of like, if you don't pay your mortgage, like you're going to be in a lot of trouble and there's going to be repercussions. It's non-recourse, no repercussions, and no money down. And it was $3.2 million, y'all. But the part that everyone's like, oh, you were given this deal, everything was handed to you. I knew nothing about business or running an RV park. And so I slept in the office floor for the first 6 months trying to figure it out. And that first payment was $18,500. Can anybody in the comments let me know like how much your rent or mortgage is? It's like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, right? So to have this $18,500 payment, and then the first electric bill was almost 20 grand, $20,000, right? Okay. So even though I got this great opportunity, I had to figure out how in the heck do you run an RV park? Now fast forward 12 years later, that RV park is worth about $13 million. I've been able to leverage that property to then go out and buy other assets like mobile home parks, Section 8 multifamily, a boutique motel, and all different other types of really interesting businesses and streams of income. So that's kind of how I got started.
Love it. Yeah. And I know David on his end as well, very much was really scratching his own itch when he came up with DealMachine and trying to solve that problem, how to find that first deal too. He was more on the single family side, which is what's awesome to team up with you, Heather, is this is going to be a unique approach of being able to think about how do you find those niche assets that aren't just the, single family fixer upper, right? But David on his end, he's somebody who was based in St. Louis with me, in that market, moved to Indianapolis, used that as his opportunity to say, hey, let me start, fresh and be able to get into the real estate game as I'm moving. He had a tech background, so had that kind of skill set, but was brand new to real estate. He had read Rich Dad Poor Dad. He had read, 4-Hour Workweek. He read these books where he knew, hey, yeah, real estate is the number one wealth generating tool out there. And also I want to be my own boss. I want to build my own lifestyle. How can I incorporate these things into, launching a real estate business? And for him, he went out there, he started to do a lot of this kind of thing. Would show up to webinars, he would, be able to start going to RIA groups, start to just taking a lot of information, really started to have a lot of analysis paralysis, and realized, man, I just need to get out there and I need to figure out just how to find motivated sellers, how to find a great deal. No matter what I'm doing, that is going to be the commonality of being able to find somebody who's looking to sell, regardless of the entire rest of the process, that, nothing else goes unless I find that. So for David, he went out there and started to try to do that himself. And he learned two big lessons. One was, hey, the best deals wouldn't come when you go direct to seller. He tried going on market. He tried so many different other methods and modes. And for him, the one thing that would work is if you figured out how to go direct to seller, how to find somebody who's motivated that hasn't raised their hand yet and said, hey, I want an offer. And then secondly, for him, it was him trying to find enough sellers and reach out to them enough times that he can find somebody who has a real problem that he can solve and, are willing to trade that solution for a discount for a good deal. So for David, he went out there, built a technology, this kind of version 1 of DealMachine, built this to help him do that, to help him start to find, again, single family homes for him, but start to just create a list of properties, create a way to automatically reach out to them, which again, throughout this challenge, we'll show you guys how to create that list, how to market to that list, kind of give you the playbook that, again, David and thousands of other people that followed there. And then for him, he built that over time where he built up a portfolio of 11 properties, worth over $2 million, amazing equity in it because he was buying right, because he was buying at a discount by trading, a solution to someone's problem for that deal, and then built his own financial freedom with this. So that's what we're pulling from today, that playbook. He built DealMachine based on that. And again, our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing. We're really proud to say we're the highest rated, most reviewed app out there for investors to find off-market deals. And, what these thousands of investors have done, that's what we've built this 7-day challenge into for you guys directly. So what the challenge is going to look like, just to give you a quick overview here. Again, if you're on social media, make sure to go to hbchallenge.com and register there for free to get the invite to each of these, each day that we go through this. We have today, which, we're doing a quick little intro overview here. We're going to be moving into a training here in just a bit. And then from that training, give you homework, give you a couple special offers throughout this thing, and give you the opportunity to enter for that grand prize giveaway. But we're doing a training today. We're doing a training tomorrow. So, today's training is going to come with homework, come with, a very specific action step for you to leave today with to finish before tomorrow. So you're going to be ready to go in the next 24 hours to execute on this stuff. And then next Tuesday is day 7. So, the first 2 days are really focused on building your list of leads, being able to market to those leads, being able to reach out to them effectively will be tomorrow. And then Tuesday is talking through, okay, having those conversations with sellers. How do we analyze deals? How do we close deals? Where do we go from here? How do we use this as a launching pad to go and find riches and niches here, right? So we're going to be giving you the playbook each day. Throughout this whole thing too, for the people who do take action, again, we're going to be giving away over $2,500 in free stuff. So make sure to follow up. We're going to be rewarding the action takers here, guys. We're rewarding the people who who come out and finish the homework, who show up to these lives, who make this a priority and really use this as a chance to kind of shift their mindset and shift how they're acting, day to day. And excited to jump into this here. So Heather, do you have any other thoughts there as we jump into the training for today? I'd love to.
Y'all, I feel like typical mom life. My childcare is making a smoothie right now, so I haven't heard anything for the last 10 seconds. That is totally when they have decided to make the smoothie for the kids. Okay, it's over. I have no idea what you asked me.
No, I said, is there anything else you wanted to share before we jump into the training for today? Like anything else about the challenge or just making sure we're all ready to go and fired up here?
No, I'm super excited. I see y'all's questions about finding and evaluating RV parks in the chat, and we're taking note of those questions and going to get to all of that as it's appropriate throughout the training for you. So make sure you stay tuned and stay all the way through so that we can get start to finish on how to evaluate those deals for you.
Awesome. There we go. So let's jump right in if you're ready to go. So today's live training, again, day 1, is all about building a niche list of leads, a niche list of potential owners to reach out to, a niche list of what looks like a qualified lead for you. Heather, do you want to kind of maybe kick us off here in terms of thinking through characteristics of what a qualified lead could look like in terms of and here we go. You've already got this ready to go. You're fantastic at this. So I'll hand it over to you for a second before I show it off inside the actual app here. But My mixer's off. There we go. Got the mom duty going on over there. Hey, I totally get that.
Sorry.
Hey, mine are 6, 5, and 3, so right behind you. But
I didn't realize you had 3. I knew you had kids. I didn't realize you had 3.
yeah, boy, girl. So they're
Awesome.
they're a blast. It's but it's definitely a lot of energy to point in the right direction. So yeah. So I was saying, Heather, to kick us off, do you want to maybe talk through? We're going to be showing off some of this stuff inside the DealMachine app, showing you exactly how to build this niche list here in just a second. Do you want to maybe talk through what a good lead looks like? Like, how do you evaluate, motivations, and how do you think through, like, what are some of the triggers that might make for what qualifies as, a good potential owner to be getting in touch with here?
Right. And so a good lead is going to be different for everybody. It depends on what your goal is. I even see some questions related to, do you prefer long-term parks or short-term parks? We talked about, I even see a comment now from Kelly related to those. We were talking about this on the IG Live before we got started, to different types of utilities. They have public utilities. They have private utilities. And then you move, because it needs to fit your buy box, right? We haven't mentioned any of that yet because we're just getting started, but the good lead needs to fit your buy box. Otherwise, you're just chasing all these rabbits down these holes. So we're not chasing every lead. We're chasing the leads that fit in our buy box. I'm assuming everybody here knows who Brandon Turner is. Brandon owns like $1 billion or something in real estate now. If it's not up to $1 billion, it's got to be close. It's hundreds and hundreds of millions. And when he was talking about starting his mobile home park journey to buy mobile home parks, he said that they got so narrow on their buy box and so specific that there were only 600 parks in the entire country that qualified in his buy box. Now, I'm not suggesting that you narrow it down to the point to where there's only one property for you to buy, but I am suggesting that you don't have, 400,000 that are options, because you're going to spend a lot of money chasing these deals. So we're going to get really specific on that buy box. But then, as Matt mentioned, you're going to want to also have some ideas in there about motivation. Like, just chasing somebody who has zero desire to sell isn't going to work. I have properties that there is no number is dramatic, but any realistic number that somebody could make money off of, I wouldn't sell for. So making sure that you talk to that owner, or you see some of the data that they have on the app is going to give you some indications of those, whether they're behind on taxes, they're going through some type of divorce, someone has died in the family. Oftentimes with some of these niche asset classes, the next generation isn't wanting to take over that responsibility, because oftentimes not only are they real estate, you're operating a business, which is what makes the cash flow so great. So as that older generation is gone or choosing to retire, that younger generation isn't necessarily looking to be a business owner. And so sometimes you'll find some motivation within that. I'm sure Matt's got some other ideas for us that you can see on the app that make it significantly easier to narrow down that motivation.
Absolutely. So some of the bigger areas, and I'm going to show this off here in the app in just a second, but some of the bigger motivations that we really look at in terms of data points to consider. Here's just a few general ones. We have literally thousands of data points inside DealMachine to tap into, so we'll show you guys that here in a minute. But I think starting broad and talking about general area, whether zip code, city, county, you can start there, and then really, again, our whole goal with this is to stack data on top of each other, stack motivations to be able to narrow that list down. Like you said, Brandon Turner getting to 600 properties nationwide. He went through quite a bit of tweaking on what his buy box looks like and the property type and, all these different variables to get to that number. So that's what we'll talk through today, is how to think through that process. Some of the best data points on here, again, it's going to be, first area, then property type, which, we've got, hundreds of different property types to dig into. And that's where the niches, focus is really coming in, whether you're looking at, RV parks, campgrounds, mobile homes, what have you. We'll show you how to do that. Narrow that down to things like, hey, anywhere from year built, if it's an asset that way, to, previous sale dates, owner types and unique owner types. We've got quite a few identifiers that I'll go through with in there. Equity situation, foreclosure statuses, you can look at their loan types and financing types, liens on the property, all of that. And then MLS data as well. Things like, hey, has it been a failed or expired listing? Has it, how many days on market has it been in the past? Things like that, to be able to really layer these things on top of each other, where you start with this big list. And then every time you put down, what that buy box looks like and what these individual unique motivators might be, you're going to get more and more narrow. So I'm going to show this off inside the DealMachine app here for you. Again, if you're going to try this out using DealMachine, we do have a special offer for you guys. So let me put this up in the webinar jam here, where it's a 7-day free trial. So you get that completely free for 7 days. If you want to follow along in the challenge and execute on this stuff with us, you can go through that here. And then through this, just because you're going through the challenge, we're also going to give you a ton of free marketing dollars to reach out to these sellers with. So that'll be like skip traces to get phone numbers, email addresses, things like that. That'll be postcards to reach out to them if you're going to go that route. So tomorrow we're really breaking down marketing methods and marketing strategy. But through today, you have that special offer to be able to follow along with us and do this in real time. And feel free to even pull that up right now if you'd like, as we're walking through this and building our list, right here too. So I'll have that shared. If you're watching on social media. Here is, I'll put that up for you guys too. It's a 7-day free trial right there. It's dealmachine.com/HB if you want to try that out. So, let me kick over to here. Heather, can you see the DealMachine app there? Hopefully.
Yep.
Awesome. There we go. Perfect. So, I'd like to kind of walk through what a niche list could look like together here, Heather. I know, again, what we're probably most known for is our driving for dollars approach. That's the thing that you were using us for, right, originally. And, the thing that we're probably most heavily associated with is driving around and looking for rundown houses. So you do have the ability to do that inside the DealMachine app while you're doing this free trial as well. But what we're going to really focus on with this particular challenge is getting more niche than that. Not just driving around and looking for distress as the only motivator, but being able to use data and layer these things on top of each other to say, hey, yeah, let me find properties that fit a very specific criteria and a very specific property type to find, to be able to target those niche lists like that. So, inside DealMachine, you'll notice right away, like this is the driving for dollars portion of it. Where I've got the desktop version pulled up. You also get access to the mobile version too. And anything you do on one or the other, you add a lead on either side. A lead meaning just a property, right? An address. When you do that on either side, it's going to sync up instantly and be able to do that on both. You can kind of build with mobile and desktop, or if you only have access to one or the other, it doesn't matter. You can work either way. But we're going to be really focusing our time and energy through this challenge on this list builder button right here. And when you click into this, it's going to overlay on top of DealMachine right here our list builder specific functions. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of those broad criteria, right? Over here, the zip code, and then nailing it down further and further and further, going through that list and going through your buy box as well. You can do that right here inside List Builder, where you've got access to a ton of different, a couple things, a ton of different quick list filterings on this left side here. So you can see really quickly, if you just wanted to see, all the single family homes in this area, you could click on that. It'll tell me, hey, there's about 5,000, just under that, of those in this particular zip code. And you can start there and make it really, really easy to kind of start building that list. You've got things like, vacant properties, foreclosure statuses, again, absentee owned, MLS status, again, expired listings, senior owner, tired landlord, pre-probate. So we'll dig into all these here. But you've got a ton of different kind of quick list filters you can start with. And then, a couple quick things just to kind of give you the overview on this. You can also go in and actually create a filter that, again, we want to stack these motivations on top of each other. So you can get more and more narrow as you go through this. You can create a filter that you can go in and select from any of this type of information, tax and mortgage information. You've got, things around MLS information, which we do have sold data in every single state, even the non-disclosure states here. Property information, going through, the property types we're going to be spending a lot of time on today. Owner information, so knowing like, hey, owner types and unique owner types, lien information, so all kinds of data to be able to tap into. And as you layer these things on top of each other, you can say, hey, find me properties that fit this and this and this and this. And that's how we can go down in real time and build that first niche list, is getting really, really specific with all these different motivators on top of each other. So we can walk that through together, Heather, if that works for you. You know, all the lists that we're pulling to, they're smart lists too. So that means every single day, system wide, we update our data. So, you know, every single day, you know, if you have a property that doesn't fit that criteria anymore and it falls out of that qualification, it'll remove itself from the list. Or if you have a property that does fit that criteria now, it'll add itself to the list. So like, you know, if you said, hey, show me properties that haven't sold for the last 30 years, you know, when they do sell, it'll automatically remove that for you that day and be, you know, have that kind of smart list, you know, capability. So that way, everything you're doing, you're focused on the right leads at all times. But Heather, would you be cool if we walk through kind of building that first list together here?
Sounds great. I'm sure everybody would love that.
Awesome. So, and again, you know, this is kind of the action plan that we're going to be talking through with the homework as well. You know, if you're going to try out DealMachine, I put up the free trial to follow along with this. Regardless of what you're using, here's how you can kind of think through the process. So, Heather, when you talk about buy box, can you maybe give people a little bit of a crash course of how to think through buy box and you know, maybe start there?
Yeah. So when we're talking about your buy box, we are going to talk about some different things because everybody has different goals. And whether it's your goal of, I want you to think about real estate. This is going to be a total rabbit hole. Matt's going to be picking on me, but you need to make sure that you are buying real estate as your vehicle for whatever the life is that you want. The real estate is not your life. It is the vehicle to that life. I saw Matt put up the 4-hour work week that David, who created DealMachine, had thought about. And you want to think about the life that you want with you, with your family, with your spouse. Maybe it's you're young and single, or you're old and single and you want to travel, and whatever it is. Or maybe you want to move out of California. I think like that's a big one. Whatever it is, whatever this life thing is that you want, you need real estate to be your vehicle for that. So when you're creating your buy box, make sure you aren't creating this buy box that messes with the life you want. Because I saw earlier someone asked into the chat, Heather, do you like long-term RV parks or short-term RV parks? Well, and someone also asked, what's the smallest size RV park you would buy in order to hire a manager? So those are things we're going to have included in that buy box, because those long-term RV parks, while they're going to be more stable and less active, they're going to be a lot more mailbox money. The cash flow is not going to be as high. So, and they're going to be cheaper to buy, but you're essentially having affordable housing as opposed to having, a resort that people go on vacation to for an average of 3 days. But those resorts make a ton more money because you have all these additional streams of revenue. You're charging more like a hotel does as opposed to an apartment complex. But there's a lot more work involved in that. So in your buy box, if your goal in life wasn't to sit in an RV park and run all the operations and clean all the bathrooms yourself, you're going to need to make sure you're looking for something that is large enough or cash flows enough to be able to hire a manager and include that within that in. Also, your buy box is going to include your budget. How much money do you have to spend? What is your goal with that? Your buy box is going to include that price. Are you looking to be able to go visit this park on occasion, check in on your employees? Are you filling in? Do you have a backup somewhere? Do you have a competitive advantage in some locations? Your buy box is going to include that location. Things like that. It's kind of where I start with that, Matt. Does that help at all?
Yeah, fantastic. So maybe to kind of start with, is there a location that you think we could start with that might have, RV parks or an example kind of like niche list that we can pull together here?
Sure. Yeah, as y'all know, I love Tennessee. The majority of my properties are in Tennessee. And if we start looking in that East Tennessee area, similar to, I'm sure some of you have heard the craze on Airbnbs and short-term rentals in the Smoky Mountains. RV parks in that Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area are going to have the same demand, meaning we have the number one visited national park in the country. So you're always going to get a lot of campers there. In addition to that, you have huge tourist attractions. So looking in areas like that, if you're looking for that short-term RV park, is going to be great. That market's going to be similar to like Branson, Missouri, or some other areas like that. Those are kind of sister markets for them.
Yeah, we just went to Gatlinburg a couple of years ago with the kids for Smoky Mountains, and we're actually going to Branson this fall as well. So
okay, yeah,
definitely camping family. But awesome. So we'll start there. Talking about Gatlinburg, So again, first and foremost, you want to think about area, like you said, Heather. So be able to start by picking a general. I mean, you can go in and either do city, county, zip code. You've got a couple options that start to filter this down. Once you've got that area, you can actually go in and if we're going to focus on those niche property types, I would say, if you go down here, create a filter for that area, select property type. And, we've got general property types right here. You've got, single family, vacant land, multifamily, a lot of different stuff right here to be able to tap into, but again, we're doing, the niche approach here. So let's look at kind of our catch-all filter right here, which is a funny filter. Weird and unusual property type is kind of the catch-all here. That's got, hundreds of different things you can tap into. So, this is basically the niche property type filter. So do you say RV park or campground or mobile home, or what do you think would be a good one to kind of show off here, Heather?
Try campgrounds.
Awesome. Okay. So if you search campground, you've got a couple things that come up. You've got, fish camps, recreational, and that's like Boy Scout and stuff. So I would start here, say like, okay, campground, RV. And again, this is data that's presented by the municipality specifically in terms of how we be able to interpret that data and help kind of filter from here. So confirm that. Let's see what comes up here to start with. So we're very zoomed out, so this might take a little bit here. Did you say east side, or where do you think inside Gatlinburg would be a good spot to look at, Heather?
Are you at Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge? I can't actually see the up close of that.
Oh, the up close to that? Okay. Here, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more for you guys. Hopefully you can be able to. Here, let me see here. Pigeon Forge. Let me try Pigeon Forge for us instead. Okay, here we go. RV, property type. Let me get more specific for you. RV. Cool. Yeah, let's see here. I think we're too zoomed out, unfortunately. Is there a particular zip code that you think would be even better?
37863.
37863. Okay, cool. Yeah, man, this is for whatever reason the municipality data is not picking up there. Is there another spot that you think could be good for RV park or campground to be able to show off?
You could try Nashville also.
Nashville. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Here, Nashville, Tennessee. Perfect. Do you know if there's a spot in Nashville that would be good to show off?
Unfortunately, I don't know my Nashville zip codes.
Okay, let's see. Or like what part of town? East, west, north, south?
It would be east.
East here? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, having an issue this morning, tech issue. Not ideal. Sorry about that, guys. Well, I know, while we're not going to get an actual specific lead on it, we can at least show the process, and that way you guys can have this ready to go for yourself. If we're going to be on Gatlinburg right here, as we have things start to, as you start to layer this down further and further, you're going to have things that fit your particular criteria light up right there. So you'll see, it'll come through and say, hey, here's how many leads that fit your particular filter, and make sure that again, as we go down further and further on the buy box in real time, it's going to be able to show that list for you. So apologies on the tech problem this morning here. For whatever reason, I'll have to submit that to our development team on my end. But
Matt, you want to try one more zip code? I'm looking up Orlando for you.
Yeah, please do.
Type in Orlando while I'm looking up the exact address of something.
Something's not going across there. I know we are revamping. Here we go. Orlando. All right. Do you know what part of Orlando? Northwest, east, south?
Let's see. I'm looking up an address for you.
Here's a couple that are getting picked up. So we've got 4.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe work with that to start with.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, if you get to a specific zip code within Orlando, let me know. But yeah, we get, being able to come in, and again, you're gonna want to be able to kind of scroll around and be able to find those particular areas that fit your niche, right? So Orlando, we've got the broad city. You can get very even bigger on county. You can use zip code to get more specific there too. So you've got a couple different options in terms of what that base layer kind of initial deal could look like. All right, so now that we've got kind of RV park campground, are there any other kind of niche qualifiers you think, Heather, that would kind of be good to be thinking about for that buy box from here too?
Give us an example of those niche qualifiers you're referring to.
Yeah, so you've got a couple options. If you click the and filter right here, again, we've got, when you talk about pricing, you can come in and look at last sale price, last sale date. That's one big one.
Yeah, those last sale dates are huge, because when we were talking about earlier, some of those things that are important for motivation, when you're getting some of those older generations that aren't necessarily transferring it on to their family, I always like using that.
Awesome. So sale date. And then, do you have a kind of a rule of thumb at all in terms of, what kind of sale date you're aiming for? Or
yeah, I usually try 25 years and over.
And older? Gotcha. Yeah. Awesome. So, if we come in there and say, hey, yeah, show me 1998, doing that math right. There we go. Perfect. Confirm. Let's see if that pops up anything here. Nope. So these are all, these 4 parks have been sold within the last 25 years.
Wow.
So that's where as you're kind of going through and being able to layer these different data pieces on top of each other, that's the process I want to get here, guys, is regardless of, this specific example, as you find an area that has a ton of different leads, even hundreds, if you're looking at even things like, whatever the asset class might be, nail this down further and further. And when you find those different niche data points that drop it to 0, that, hey, okay, cool. Let me back out of that and let me restart and look at kind of a different buyer right there, or different buy box. So, these are, built or sold relatively recently. Is there anything else in terms of, looking at, especially RV parks and campgrounds that, out of this kind of list that would make you able to filter down with, Heather?
Obviously, expired listings is a big one all the time, or days on the market. And pre-foreclosure, I mean, you can't go wrong with any of that type of stuff. Matt, if you want to dig into mobile home parks too, we might have more luck finding those, since there seems to be.
Let me try that here. So we can, and that's the thing too, is you can go in and say, hey, show me, campground RV parks, or that's what the or filter is. Property type being mobile home. And let's see if we get anything better here. Mobile homes or trailer park. Cool. So you got commercial units, manufactured, and we'll stick with this one. See if we can pick up anything here. Hold on a sec, guys. Man, having a bad time for the tech to go down today. That's the beauty of live demos, is when you have a hiccup like that. But we're having an issue picking up that. Let me see if I can get anything better on
Matt. While you're digging into that, I'm going to answer some of these questions.
Yeah,
Kelly's asking, what is your opinion on purchasing an existing RV park versus developing your own? Which would cause us to be doing something different here. Where Matt's looking for those, you'd be looking for land. And buying, you can do both, but there's some things that you should think through with it. First of all, you're going to compare the prices of the two. That's how you're going to always make your decision on when you're buying real estate, right? You're going to compare those prices. So, but the price isn't apples to apples as it seems, because you might say, okay, my development budget's $1,000 and the park's $1,000. Or the land's $1,000, but they want $5,000 for this other park. So it's automatically, oh my gosh, development's going to be a better thing. So a couple things to remember. Development takes years, y'all. Years. Not like a couple months. Even if you think it's going to be quick, it's going to be a minimum of like 18 months. So you're going to consider your lost revenue. You're the opportunity that you lost to make the revenue from the other property that was $5 million. And not just for that from day one to opening, it's going to take you a minute to build up your business. So what kind of revenue did you lose in there? Also, zoning and permitting is not easy. It is my women's mastermind is actually doing a session on it tomorrow, because it is such a challenge that when you're buying land, to be able to get zoning and permitting, even if it's available in the area, can take a very long time. I'm in the middle of some with a motel, and we are at 13 months and we haven't started a remodel yet because we're still waiting on the city. So buying an existing park is always going to be a better option, unless you happen to already own the land or you have some advantage in the area, so that it works out to be a better start. Or maybe you're a contractor and you could do all that yourself. Like if you have some competitive advantage, I might vote for that developing instead. but buying an existing is always going to be easier. And if we talk about glamping too, I noticed Matt had an option on DealMachine for a fish camp. He saw the fish camp pop up.
Yeah.
Here in Florida, there are tons of fish camps. And the thing is, they already have that permitting in place that we're talking about. So that can make for a really cool transition property. And when I say transition property, I'm sorry, I can't remember the lady's name that was asking about the size property you need to buy. But let's say there's like this 15, 20 site RV park that's a fish camp. And I'm using that fish camp terminology because there's a lot of them in Florida, that you think would be a really great location, but you're like, that 20 sites won't quite bring in enough income as an RV park in order for me to hire a staff. Those make really great glamping conversions, because you can add, whether it's tiny homes or glamping tents, whatever it is, you're going to convert it there. Typically, your permitting is already, it may not be exactly, but it's in the right direction. So it's easier to get it, because you can get the tiny homes if they're RVIA certified. You can automatically put those there without any more. But don't rule out those like 20 site parks if you're interested in those alternative accommodations or glamping, because they can be really great for that. But for an RV park only, they're not going to bring in enough income for you to hire a staff.
Love that. Yeah. I mean, I think, I know you mentioned, hey, that obviously the development route's not ideal. I do think like it does give you, if we went to the vacant land route on here, it does give a little bit of a better kind of just picture of what the process for this looks like. Because in the end, this is about the process, how to think through that buy box, how to nail that down further and further. So I can show that off here briefly for you guys, Heather, if that's okay.
Yeah.
But, because you can see, hey, vacant land leads, you've got, 3,400 right there. But the same idea of starting big at this funnel, starting with the zip code or city, nailing it down further to property type, then going in further around, like you said, whether it be year built or, length of ownership. I can look at last sale date, either through county records or MLS records right here. Or let me go in and say, hey, last sale date is before, again, we'll go for 25 years old. So let's see if we can find land that's been owned for a little bit. Click on that. Boom. Let's see here. And that's whittling down further to, hopefully we have this one going all right. And again, it's a big area, so it's going to take a minute. But as you go through this, it's going to, again, get further and further down. There we go, down to 323 leads. So that's something manageable to be able to run with. You do have other unique owner types in here that I do want to point out. Obviously, length of ownership is great. Obviously, you could look at MLS market status if we want to look at, recently failed. That's the expired listing. So let's see if we get anything there, if that's too niche or not. So whittling that down from 323. Yep, that's a little too niche there. But we can go further and say, hey, there's unique owner types. You can look at things like senior owner, tired landlord, pre-probate. So you've got a lot of these kind of individual modifiers to be able to niche down further and further and further. But once you've got that, once you think bigger in terms of area, then smaller in terms of property type, whatever that niche might be, then even smaller in terms of, okay, length of ownership, high equity, unique owner types like senior landlord, senior owner, tired landlord, pre-probate, all of that, niche that down further and further. And based on that, you can actually even start drawing as well and click around a certain area and, click, be able to do that to niche it down even further too. And, again, in that time, it's going to be able to show you, what your lead count is at. And let me clear that so I can keep it up relatively bigger here for you. And you've got 300 plus leads to work with, I believe it looks like. And, simply hit build list and you're ready to take action from there. So, that's where we can start, is be able to come in, quickly use List Builder to be able to find that kind of initial motivated list of leads. Think about those motivators that Heather talked about. Think about those motivators in terms of buy box with these general areas to kind of kick you off with. And again, we're going to send out the replay after this. That way you can sit down and for this recording, go through and think through, what are each of these individual factors that I should be considering, and how can I fit that to what I'm looking for right now to fit my lifestyle, like Heather mentioned, and go from there. So, Heather, and I know we wanted to try to stick on time here for today. Is there anything else in terms of like coming in and thinking through, how to build that list of leads, how to think about buy box, how to think about different motivators that we should be putting in here? Let us know what you think in terms of, any other pro tips here before we get to the homework.
Yeah. Do you mean when they're choosing their buy box?
Yeah, just being able to go. Our goal for today is to come out with that kind of initial list of leads to reach out to. So,
Yeah, we're narrowing down a location. And so for RV parks, as you're seeing when Matt's doing this, sometimes if you get so specific as a zip code, you might not find anything. Not all zip codes have RV parks. So I encourage you to narrow it down to, like, for example, I buy in the southeast part of the United States right now, which kind of starts with Tennessee and moves south, those southern states. And so you might even narrow it down to, you know, I one of the girls in my mastermind, they buy in only Idaho. So if you get, or maybe it's even a radius, you know, you're like, I want to be within 3 hours of my house. So you're going to narrow down a little bit broader than if you were buying a single family home and you were a flipper, or trying to build just in your market. And I know I'm answering that for RV parks, but that's going to be the case with niche asset classes in general. If you were buying self-storage, you'd be thinking the same way, because while there are going to be more self-storage than there are RV parks, you might not necessarily find something in every zip code. Same with mobile home parks. I saw, hey, Jared, talking about how he's trying to decide between RV park versus mobile home parks. You want to make sure you're not necessarily just looking at a specific city, maybe more think of radius from your house if you're trying to be at something you can drive to. But I also self-manage from 900 miles away. So maybe you're more thinking, okay, I want to buy near a national park. So if you're thinking that's your location, then you need to think through those national parks. Maybe you Google top 5 national parks in the country. You're like, okay, I'm going to buy near those. So think about that location, and then you're going to think about your price. And those are huge things when niche asset classes. Location and price narrows you down quite a bit because there's not as many properties. So that's where I would start, Matt.
Awesome. Yeah, and I 100% agree. I think that lines up pretty well with kind of, you know, a few of the things we're thinking about here. So if you kind of look through this list, try to figure out, you know, what are those qualifiers that fit, you know, the asset you're looking for, fit the lifestyle you're wanting to build, fit the area you're thinking about. That's the place to start. You know, we'll get to questions here in just a minute, but I just do want to quickly give the homework for you guys, so that way everyone on here can qualify for those giveaways if you follow up with this. The homework, you know, first and foremost, if you're going to try out Deal Machine, awesome. We give you that free trial here, dealmachine.com/HB. Play around with it in terms of this data. Like, I know I had that little tech hiccup here on our end, but go in and just be able to mess around with it. You know, it's going to be a free trial for you. So, you know, it's something that, hey, you know, use me as a resource. If you have any questions about it specifically, just matt@dealmachine.com is my email. So I'm here to help there. I just threw that in the chat for you guys. But if you're going to use Deal Machine, start there, try out that free trial, because that's going to give you a bunch of free marketing credits if you go through that link specifically. But really the main piece of homework here is go out and pull your first niche list of leads. Go out and take that action step. You know, we're asking here to start with is build that list of leads by going through, using data, layering these data factors on top of each other, mess around with it here. And we're asking you to do this between now and this time tomorrow. So that way you show up, you know, 24 hours later with something to act on, with something to start to have conversations on. So, you know, again, try to use what Heather gave you here. Try to use, you know, those different categories we went through here today. Again, if you're going to use Deal Machine to try it out, make sure to go through that link. And then the big thing is to submit the homework. Email me proof. So email me a screenshot showing me, hey, here's my list of leads, whether it be anything from handwritten, if you wrote it down, you know, all the way through if you're using Deal Machine, just take a quick screenshot of how many leads you have added to Deal Machine. Just show me proof that you took that action step, that you're holding yourself accountable, that you're coming through here ready to go to take action on these properties, on these assets, right? And email me proof. And I'm going to, you know, if you do that, you're going to be entered to win the grand prize on that's going to be next Tuesday, rather. So you're going to be eligible to win that grand prize next Tuesday. You'll be eligible to win tomorrow. We're going to be giving away, same time, same place, that first prize that's going to be you know, worth 4 figures as well. So we're going to be giving away prizes each day to people doing this homework, following through with this. So make sure to go that route and you know, finish up, take that action step of actually emailing that to me. I'll put my email in the chat one more time for you guys, matt@dealmachine.com. And that way, you know, you've got this, you know, you're leading with action. You're not just absorbing the information here. So I do want to mention again the 2 special bonuses to help you guys out through this thing. It's just dealmachine.com/HB will be the 7-day free trial. That'll be the free skip traces, free postcards inside the app for you too, which tomorrow we're going to be talking through exactly what to do with that. How to market to these owners, how to get in touch with them, how to reach them, in the most effective ways possible in today's market. So that's going to be the theme for tomorrow. And the other special that we do have for you guys too is, hey, if you do try this out, you're like, yeah, this is working great for me. This is my, I love this approach. I want to use this long term. We do have an access to 33% off for a year for you guys, where you would get Deal Machine Pro. That includes all the driving for dollars stuff, all the list builder stuff, being able to come in, get those smart lists, do this quickly, easily, conveniently. And then also all the free skip traces and postcards too. So all of that is 33% off for 12 months if you go through this specific link. If you're using Deal Machine already, email me direct and I can help you guys take advantage of this too. I want to make sure that you guys have access to this as well. It'll take, you'll have to go direct to me to be able to get that, extra upgrade there. But I want to help you guys out too. If you're going to be looking at doing this for more than just a few months, for, committing to this for a full year, hey, you've got that option too here for you. So, wanted to share both of those here. I'll leave up these QR codes. Happy deal finding. We'll take some questions here. But Heather, do you have any other thoughts before we jump into Q&A here?
No, I'm really excited that you're showing this to everybody, because all my mastermind girls get the same similar spiel from Matt, because I believe so much in the program. I personally use Deal Machine. If you follow me on social media, you may have seen in January, my daughter for her birthday wanted to use Deal Machine on her iPad so she could drive around and find her first property. Matt, did you see us doing that?
Yeah, so, I love that.
Yeah, so it's fun for your kids too to start learning a little bit about that. But I've bought deals that I have found through the app. And when I say we went and drove around, that's what she wanted to do for her birthday. We regularly use, my team, the app or the desktop version when we're not actually in the location. So driving for dollars doesn't mean you actually have to go drive around. That bird's eye view that we're looking at on the screen, you do from the comfort of your home. But if we're going to dig into a couple questions, Matt, there's a few on here that would be nice if you could answer. Taylor is asking, what qualifies as a tired landlord?
Yeah, great question. So we have a variety of different data sources that we're pulling from for there. So we don't publicly share all the details on there, but it's something that there's a couple of main providers that if you're using us or any of the other top competitors out there when it comes to real estate data, very similar, I'll say, in terms of data source there. The ability to use it inside the app and be able to just pull very quickly and have access to it, whether it be on mobile or on desktop, is something that can be a little bit unique for us. But yeah, Unique Landlord, it's a combination of property data and then also person data, combining all of that together to indicate that. So sorry to be a little cryptic there, but we share a decent amount publicly, but not every single data source. So.
Sure. Matt, is Deal Machine available in Canada?
So you can use it in Canada. It doesn't include property market data in Canada. So we have a ton of people, like you just said, Heather. You don't have to be physically driving around or physically using it. But if you're sitting in Canada and you're using List Builder, you can pull a list in whatever market in the US, or you can use our virtual driving for dollars option to be able to click for dollars and use it in the US, US markets based on that too. So you've got a couple of options to kind of, help you out from wherever you are. We have people worldwide using it. It's just a matter of the property data is only the 50 states of the US.
So Taylor's asking, if you're buying an RV park similar to a single family home where you're buying it cheaper and more rundown, and he's associating that with getting a specific type of clientele, do RV parks work the same way? Taylor, when you're buying an RV park, it is awesome. And this works with distressed properties in general for niche asset classes. Just because it's older and run down, meaning mom and pop haven't quite kept up on those capital expense and maintenance that they needed to over the years, is an amazing buy. If it's at the right price, it's really great low-hanging fruit, because you can go in and remodel and you will have different clientele, because we are mostly talking about short-term RV parks. So these are going to be people on vacation. So you start your new marketing channels, which are usually like Google AdWords and pay for clicks, a great website, and you're going to have a whole new set of clients from that, a whole new set of guests. So that low-hanging fruit isn't always physical, because that physical aspect of it where it's run down is usually a lot of money in capital expenses, right? So there are other low-hanging fruits like we just talked about. Maybe they don't have a website. Maybe they aren't doing online reservations. And as we all know, we want to book everything online. I don't have to call and talk to somebody. And if they look for that, your potential clients or potential guests aren't booking with them. They're going on to the next person. One of the biggest low-hanging fruit is maybe they aren't using software, kind of like we're talking about today. Software is a game changer in every business, because if any of you have been doing what Matt's talking about on paper, where you're trying to eliminate when a deal is no longer available or it sold last month to someone else, that is a lot of work on paper. So just like DealMachine is a game changer when you're trying to find deals, having operation software, reservation software in your campground is too. So a lot of times those older, more rundown parks that you're referring to, they aren't optimizing software. Things like dynamic pricing, where your price changes based on demand, or occupancy optimization, just to give you a couple options. So some of those older, more rundown parks have some really great low-hanging fruit. You just have to make sure that you've done your math and made sure that you're buying it at the right price.
Love that. And I have a few people asking about the replay as well. We are going to email out the replay after this as well for you guys. So just make sure to pay attention to your email. And again, tomorrow, same time, same place is going to be the next training here too.
And so guys, we're just over that hour. Any questions that we aren't getting to for you, my team's going to take notes of them, and we'll make sure we make videos for y'all and post them on social media. So if your questions that get answered, don't think we missed you. We will make videos for you answering all those questions. So feel free to keep adding them.
Yeah, and I see a couple quick DealMachine specific questions. Someone asked about pricing. We have 3 different plans. $79 a month is our starter, and you'll get access to all this stuff with starter. So, you've got that option there. That's list builder and everything's included in that. Someone asked about what makes this unique compared to like other options out there. I think, there's a ton of individual features I could talk about, like especially the driving for dollars side. That's all pretty unique. Like our mobile app is, I'd say head and shoulders above other options out there. Our support team gets back to you in less than 3 minutes. Our community is very unique. We're always updating the app with major features. Like if you compare us to other apps out there, you'll see that in the app update history. But for, regardless of all those individual things, we really try to focus on our customers and saying, hey, let them do the talking. And we're the highest rated, 4.8 or 4.7 out of 5 stars on the App Store. And we're the most reviewed out there, 5,000 plus reviews, combined between those two. So we really point to our customers in terms of showing like, hey, what makes DealMachine unique on that front. But when it comes to the challenge here, just one last reminder for you guys, here is the homework. Again, make sure to turn this in to me, email me proof of this by tomorrow before we go live at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Again, is if you're going to use DealMachine, go use that free trial up, pull your first niche list of leads, regardless if you're using DealMachine or not, and then email me proof of that, whether it be a picture, a screenshot of it, what have you, and you'll be entered in that first giveaway we're going to be giving away tomorrow. So want to make sure as we wrap up here that you guys know that for tomorrow. All right. I know we're coming up on time, Heather. Is there anything else you wanted to cover before and didn't want to run too far over on you?
No, I think that's great.
Fantastic. Again, if you're watching on social, go to that hbchallenge.com. You'll be able to register here for free. You'll get invited to the rest of these as well. But Heather, excited to do this again tomorrow. So, again, tomorrow the theme is going to be what to do with that list of leads. So make sure come tomorrow with that list of leads ready to go, ready to take action on. And we're going to be talking marketing strategy tomorrow. All right. Thanks, Heather. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you doing this with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. So see everybody tomorrow, same time, same place. Pay attention to your email and get that homework in.
Talk to y'all soon.